Welcome back to Cooking and Kids. As you can tell, we are off once again, and this time I'm taking you to Vojvodina. Vojvodina is a region in Serbia well known for its gentle, fertile land. But one of the things Vojvodina is most famous for is for their pastries. I'm glad you're coming with us to explore and learn more about this beautiful region. Vojvodina is located in northern Serbia, and it has a rich and diverse history shaped by various cultural and political influences. The region has been inhabited since prehistoric times. During the Roman era, Vojvodina was part of Roman Empire, with significant towns like Sirmium, which today is a modern Sremska Mitrovica, and served as an important military center. Slavic tribes settled in this area during the 6th and 7th century. Vojvodina is also a home to nature preserve called Zasavica. Zasavica supports sustainable agricultural practices, particularly through the cultivation of traditional crops and livestock breeds. Special attention is given to preserving particular breeds of pigs, goats, horses, donkeys, and cows. One of the rarest is podolsko goveče, which is a particular type of cow. Zasavica reflects the rich cultural history of Vojvodina, showcasing traditional practices, architecture, and rural lifestyle. For many years, Zasavica has served as an open classroom, and it's promoting environmental studies to help monitor ecological changes and to promote sustainable practices. It's also a special nature reserve, and it's home to a diverse range of flora and fauna, including many endangered species. The area attracts a lot of nature photographers and bird watchers. Small private tours are available and are organized almost daily. But above all, Zasavica provides opportunities for environmental education and research, fostering awareness of wetland ecosystems and their importance. Vojvodina today is a modern and significantly important region in Serbia. But if you're old-fashioned foodie like I am, visiting local salashes is the way to go. Such places typically include a farmhouse, barns, and other buildings necessary for farming activities. Salashes in Vojvodina today are keepers of a rustic architecture and the connection to the rural lifestyle of the region. Each one of these homesteads plays an important role in preserving local culture and heritage, and many have been restored or maintained as part of the efforts to promote tourism and agricultural practices of Vojvodina. Today, we are checking into one of the most popular salashes in the region. And right here, from this very first experience, you can tell that we are stepping back into a completely different era. Back in era when people's and horses' spirits were so tightly intertwined. After the World War II and the farming modernization, horses in Serbia are finally making a big comeback. Horses hold a special place in the local culture and traditions of Serbia and Vojvodina. They are often featured in folk tales, songs, and festivals, symbolizing strength and endurance. Like in many other countries prior to motor vehicles, horses were main ways of transporting people and goods. But more importantly, horses were used to plow fields and to plant crops. It's very encouraging to see that this beautiful and most deserving animal is now attracting a whole new generation of youth.
So, hello, my name is Julia Ribnikar, and this is my amazing horse, Šljivama, that has been mine for like 15 years. So I wanted to talk about the importance of horses in Serbia and riding as well. Well, ever since I was born, I could say that my mother loved horses, and so that love grew on me as well, and I'm very thankful for that. I also wanted to say that after COVID, I think that a lot of parents wanted to encourage their children to be in nature and surrounded by animals and fresh air, and so they decided to take their children to horse riding lessons, which I think is very important, and they stayed in that sport. So because of that, in Serbia, in our equestrian sport, I think that the Šljivama, he's so silly. I think that it has played a very important part in expanding the sport and the people who love it and who want their children to have some sort of obligation towards animals, and also to learn the importance of taking care of an animal and of another being, and just to be dedicated to something and not just play games in their room. So I think that that's one of the most important things that this sport can give you. And also I have to say that a lot of those children are growing up to be very, very successful and good athletes, even in Croatia and Hungary, and it is all thanks to these amazing animals that give us love and attention and everything that we need.
Would you say that love for horses is being reignited once again after many years?
After many, many years, unfortunately, it wasn't very popular for a lot of years.
Mostly, I'm assuming, mostly because of economical
situation.
It is a
very expensive sport.
Yes.
Very, and it also, not that it's just very expensive, it also takes a lot of time
and dedication,
and energy and dedication, and it's just well, I guess I could say it is a full-time job. You know, you have to take care of that animal 24/7, and there are no days off when that horse is sick or it doesn't feel well. You have to be there for them. It's not like football or that you can just, you know, throw away your ball and just don't care about it. It has feelings, it hurts, it's sad sometimes.
It's a relationship, basically.
It is a very, very unique relationship, and I think that is why horse riding is so beautiful, because you get to compete with your animal, you get to read his mind, he gets to read yours, and you fly together, which I think is the most beautiful part of it all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank
you. So
you.
much. It's such a wonderful news to see horses make such a comeback in Serbia and hopefully worldwide. How many years have you been in this sport?
Well, I can say about 20 years, more or less. But I mean, I started a little bit late in competitions.
Mm-hmm. So what is the one thing that you get out of this particular sport and just being around the horses? What would you tell other young women who have opportunity to do this? It obviously feeds your soul. That's obvious. I can see this in your eyes. Just the happiness being with the horse.
Best therapy. I mean, the love for the animal, nature, understanding for like relationship with them. You have to understand that every horse is different, and the approach you have for the animal, I think, can be like acknowledged in many parts of life.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And not to mention that every girl looks absolutely stunning next to a horse.
Because we love them and they love us back.
Yes, it must be that love that radiates. Yes. Thank you so much.
You.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All this horsing around had made us very hungry, so we are off to try some of the traditional food from Vojvodina. The best part is the restaurant is located right next to the stables, and it's part of this homestead. Al fresco dining is typical during the summer months. Just as I expected, all dishes were homemade using traditional recipes. The menu is quite extensive and includes all sorts of savory and sweet dishes, and very often the entire roasted bull. Being in Vojvodina, I knew they had some amazing desserts, and I was curious to find out what's on today's menu. Snenokle, or as we call it, floating island, is just one of the items on the menu. One that truly got my attention was this layered strudel made with cherries. These are sour cherries, and this particular dessert is called pita od Višnje. And this will be our recipe of the day. Serbia's topography and the rich soil enables country to grow all sorts of healthy grains, fruits, and nuts. And when you add a good dairy and good eggs, then you have the baker's paradise, from which all sorts of amazing recipes were made. Cherries are one of the most popular fruits in Serbia. They grow abundantly, and in addition to raspberries, plums, and apples, they are one of the most used fruits in their dessert recipes. My grandmother was an amazing baker, and thanks to her and my mother, today I enjoy making all kinds of different desserts. Almost all women in Serbia bake, but few could bake as good as my grandma did. Her baking skills incorporated all kinds of different recipes which came from different cultures. Serbia is very close to Italy, Germany, France, Hungary, Turkey, and Greece. And desserts are heavily influenced by these cultures. Thanks to my grandma, today I'm able to playfully infuse different recipes from different cultures. However, one of my forever favorites is obviously her walnut strudel. Now let's see if we can figure out how to make this special cherry dessert. For some, this particular dessert is called cherry pita. Some will call it cherry baklava, and some will say that this is cherry strudel. However you call it, the recipe is delicious and it's so easy to make. Let's get to it. The first step is to preheat the oven, because this is going to take only a few minutes. To start, we're going to need some cherries. We're going to need approximately about a couple of pounds of cherries, and as you can see, I have let them drain, so this way that they're not too moist. We're also going to need some yogurt. There's a cup of yogurt here. I have 7 tablespoons of sugar and 6 tablespoons of flour. We're going to need 5 eggs, about 7 ounces of oil, and I'm using olive oil. We're also going to need a little bit of baking powder and some vanilla. Besides cherries, this is another key ingredient, which is a filo dough. So we'll start mixing sugar, flour, and yogurt. We're going with 5 eggs. And I do wish we had homegrown eggs, because obviously they will add so much to the flavor. We are ready to add the oil, and then we're going to whip it in very good. Baking powder and vanilla for taste. Now let's add these cherries. These are real good. Okay. All right, we don't need a whisk anymore. I'm just gonna mix them in. And all that's left to do is to layer the phyllo dough and put this in between and bake it, and that's it. So when you layer the phyllo dough, make sure that on the bottom you have at least 3 or 4 sheets. So this way you will have the good backing, if you will. And then we're just gonna do it like this. As you can see, the rest is quite simple. You'll continue to layer a couple of phyllo dough sheets and then sprinkle them with this mixture. And we'll just continue to repeat this until we run out of the mixture. This is going to be good, but it's definitely not going to be like the dessert we saw in Vojvodina, but it's close enough. First of all, we don't have their cherries, and all the ingredients are different. So I will be very happy if we come even close to what they made. Okay, this is the last layer. And I have saved just a little bit of this mixture. I'm gonna pour it on top. Always scrape all of the ingredients, and always be mindful not to waste food. It's precious in every aspect, from the financial aspect to the fact that the earth is producing this for us, and that we're really blessed to have it. So my grandma would make me scrape dishes like butter dish and stuff, like get every ounce of food out. People who experience wars, they know how precious food is. So this is something I learned from my grandma, and even today, I try not to waste and be respectful towards food, because it is, beside the oxygen and water, it's crucial for our existence. If you remember, I left a few cherries aside, and now I'm gonna use them as a decoration. Bake it on 350 for about 40 minutes. And while strudel is baking, we're gonna work on this sauce. And all that's in it is the sauce from the cherries with just a touch of flour and a little extra sugar. Once you have it nice and creamy like this, set it aside and let it cool. As evening starts settling in, horses are just about to start with their afternoon exercises. This is a perfect way to relax for the rest of the day. But if you are more of a night person, the party's just about to begin. For families who would like to stay up a little longer, you can join the fun at the restaurant. There's always a great dinner menu, and of course local musicians who will perform traditional Serbian music for you. Fun nights are usually followed with very peaceful and quiet mornings. If you take a walk around the farm, you'll notice that they are very deliberate in preserving objects from the past. Each one of these carefully chosen objects are essential for passing down cultural heritage of Vojvodina and the stories of people who came before us. Indeed, they are artifacts, and they serve as a tangible links to the history and heritage, helping younger generations understand their cultural identity and the values that shape their region. By preserving and showcasing these items, the farm is ensuring the narratives of their ancestors are not forgotten, and they're creating a bridge between the past and the present. I'm always a big fan of teaching younger generations about the lives and experiences of those who came before us, so that we can inspire younger generations to reflect on their own lives and to make informed decisions about their future. Preserving cultural artifacts also fosters a sense of belonging and connection within the communities, helping to unite people around shared histories and traditions. I wish all the cultures in the world would do the same to ensure that rich tapestry of human experience continues to inspire and inform. I hope that by now you're feeling hungry, because I'm just about to take you and show you what the typical breakfast looks like around here. Home-raised and home-cured and smoked bacon is usually one of the most important items on the breakfast menu. Serbian people believe in bacon, and to them, this is a source of a healthy omega-3 fats. So it's finally a breakfast time, and I want to show you what we are having for breakfast this morning. Food is all local, and it's all grown on these local fields. So traditional breakfast consists of a fried dough, which in Serbia they call this uštipci. And of course, when you have uštipak, you have to have some kind of cream to serve it with, or a good cheese. And bacon is, of course, it's a standard. So I want to show you what's on my plate this morning. We have a smoked bacon, homemade sausage, dry plum. This is a chicken pate, which is made right here on the premises. Sweet cream, which this is called kaymak. And what it is, it's a young cream collected from milk. It's delicious. This is a sour cheese. It's a young cheese, but it's fermented, so it has a sour flavor. And these little things are cornbread. They're made with cheese, and they are absolutely delicious. So if you come to places like this, you can expect to have so many different foods served at any meal. And all of this is locally grown, it's natural, and it's absolutely to die for. Our dessert is just about done, and the next thing, we're going to allow it to cool off for a good 40 minutes to about an hour. Once both the strudel and the sauce are nice and cool, we're going to serve it and present it for tasting. This dessert is not very sweet. If you remember, we only use about 7 tablespoons of sugar in it. So adding a little bit of the powdered sugar will enhance the flavor. And if you want to enhance the looks, you can drizzle a little bit of this sauce on the top as well. By its looks, it's definitely a success. Quality of the ingredients makes a huge difference. As you can tell, our dessert turned out slightly different than the one that we saw at the ranch in Vojvodina. One of the reasons is simply cherries. They have used red cherries, and we used black cherries. Also, the filo dough is different, and I'm sure all the other ingredients which we use for dessert are slightly different than the ones used in Vojvodina. The best part about this dessert is that it's all natural, It's made out of simple ingredients, and it's something that you can easily do with your kids. A few years ago, Roots brought me to Vojvodina, where I stumbled upon another salash and where I met a very unique person who shared with me his perspective on how important it is to preserve the heritage and culture of this particular region. And while sitting in the shade of a beautiful walnut tree and sipping of coffee, we were talking about how important it is for each nation and each culture to bring forth their tradition and heritage. I'm very happy to learn that in Serbia and Vojvodina today, there are a number of individuals and organizations who are diligently working on preserving the traditions and heritage of this region. Our episode is soon coming to the end, and all that's left to do is to gather my memories and my footage and to follow good old Danube west. It's such a pleasure and privilege to take you with me on these travels. Opening and sharing the world with the younger generations is one of the best gifts we can give them. Cooking and Kids program is brought to you in part by Vlada's Seeds of Life, a charitable organization with mission to reconnect families and communities in America while promoting more natural way of life. Thank you all so much for spending time with me once again and for watching our program. Our goal is always to inspire you to get back in the kitchen, to start cooking more naturally, and above all, to reconnect with your family and your friends. Until the next episode and the next recipe and our next adventure, I hope you will stay well and you will take good care of yourself and those around you.